Here's something you've likely heard. People don't quit jobs, but they quit managers. Is this actually true? Have you ever stopped to think about what happens when companies fail to train their managers properly? It's a ripple effect. It impacts everything from the team morale to the bottom line. Let me ask you, what's at the core of a great workplace? You might think it's big perks or fancy offices, but research tells us something surprising. It's actually people, led by managers who define your experience at work. Managers are the frontline leaders. They motivate, coach, and hold things together. Or at least that's what they're supposed to do. Now, here's the twist. Not all managers are equipped for the job they thrust into. They're skilled workers promoted for their expertise, but leadership requires an entirely different skill set. It's not about authority, it's about influence. Yet too often, companies assume new managers will figure it out. And that's when the cracks start to show. You've gotten disengaged employees, missed deadlines, and eventually your best talent walking out the door. As organizations shift from predominantly staffed by baby boomers to a mix of Generation X, millennials, and the incoming Generation Z workforce, managing these diverse age groups is more challenging than ever. A huge percentage of today's workers are from younger generations, millennials and Gen Z. And their expectations from a leader? Well, let's just say they're a little different from what we expected decades ago. These employees expect autonomy, growth opportunities, and most importantly, purpose-driven work. So the big question for managers: how do you lead teams that don't want to be micromanaged? Teams that prefer flexibility, work-life balance, and also alignment between values and the company's mission. Leadership is about meeting each employee where they are at, and that means evolving your management skills. Take this. When you have got multiple generations working together, one thing often gets lost in translation. It's communication. From the baby boomer manager who is accustomed to the top-down approaches to the millennial employees who need feedback and recognition almost instantly. The difference in work styles and expectations can create a huge disconnect. What does this lead to? Frustration and disengagement. And we all know the outcome of a disengaged team: low productivity, high turnover, and a very slow-moving organization. Now let's talk about the ripple effects of leadership gaps. These gaps don't just sit at the top. They echo through the top ranks and hit the team at a very low level. It's like dropping a pebble into a pond and watching the waves spread. Imagine this. You've got a technically brilliant manager, but they're terrible at communication. Deadlines are unclear, praise is non-existent, and team members constantly feel overwhelmed with no recognition for their hard work. This creates a very toxic work atmosphere overall. Poor leadership has lasting effects on employee morale and retention, ultimately stunting your organizational growth. Let's move into solution. How can we fix these gaps? It all starts with investing in soft skills development. Leadership isn't just about delegating tasks. It's about understanding how people work, their motivations, and knowing when to step up and be empathetic. Leaders must master the emotional intelligence needed for difficult conversations, giving constructive feedback without demotivating employees, or guiding them through crisis without adding pressure. Empathy isn't just about a nice-to-have skill. It's essential for managing high-performing teams and creating loyal employees. Next comes practical learning, real-world simulations. Not every leadership challenge is the same, so managers need tools to handle things like conflict resolution, managing hybrid teams, and addressing diversity challenges in a real context. Role-playing scenarios that mirror actual workplace tensions or employee burnouts helps prepare managers for tough situations that they will eventually face, all while lowering the risk of conflict. In a world of remote work and highly diverse teams, cultural sensitivity and unconscious bias training for managers is essential. Today's workforce is the most diverse in our entire history, and leaders who don't prioritize inclusivity risk creating toxic and disengaged teams. Diversity isn't just about racial or gender representation. It's about making all voices feel heard, which drives productivity and innovation. Take PwC as an example of what good leadership training looks like. PwC implemented a shadowing program for emerging managers, allowing them to be mentored by seasoned leaders. This experience gave the rising stars real-world insights on how to handle different types of teams and leadership situations, ensuring a very smooth transition as they grew into their roles. General Electric successfully tackled generational challenges by holding innovation summits, bringing together employees from multiple generations to collaborate, brainstorm, and push creative boundaries. This was a genius strategy that not only fostered cross-generational collaboration, but also helped General Electric stay at the forefront of innovation in a rapidly changing market. Unilever turned the traditional mentoring concept on its head with a reverse training program. In this case, younger employees mentored experienced colleagues, teaching them about technology and social media. It was a win-win situation. Experienced employees boosted their digital literacy, while the younger generation gained mentorship and guidance. As we look towards the future of work, one thing is clear: leadership skills must evolve. With Gen Z entering the workforce, new communication technologies, and shifts in the workforce dynamics, there is a demand for a progressive leadership. But here's the catch. Today's Gen Z employees, with all their reliance on technology and desire for work-life integration, expect managers to engage differently. A Harvard Business Review study found that 62% of millennials and Gen Z expect flexible working hours. Managers need to be equipped to lead teams that require flexibility and work from home options while staying connected to the company's culture. And on top of this, if your organization wants to attract and retain younger workers, inclusivity isn't just nice, it's expected. Diversity and belonging are more than just buzzwords for them. They are pillars that drive job satisfaction and retention. Training managers to address the needs and expectations of these generations is no longer optional. It's necessary for staying competitive in the talent race. So let's answer today's big question. Do people quit jobs or managers? It's managers, but here's the bright side. This is a fixable problem. Equip your managers with the skills to inspire. Transform leadership gaps into opportunities. Because when managers thrive, entire businesses thrive. Want help getting started? At the Wise Blend, we specialize in crafting leadership training that's anything but boring. It's purposeful, scalable, and designed for real-world impact. Thanks for tuning in to Blended by TWB. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, leadership isn't just a role, it's a ripple effect. See you next time.